Hello, everyone, and welcome to season 2 of Passionate People and Preposterous Peeves. I'm your host, Ike. And before you get too sucked into this awesome interview, do us both a favor and like, subscribe, and share this amazing piece of entertainment, because I am here with the one, the only BLAINE. Say hello,
Nice.
bloody.
Nice, man. Yeah, hello, everyone, listeners. Hello, Isaac. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. Thanks for coming on. But before we get too far in and forget where we're at, do you have a favorite movie line that you like to quote apropos of nothing?
A favorite movie line that I like to quote. Um,
Yeah, just like, you're hanging out with your buds, the situation's right, and you're just like, make your move, punk. Or, I don't know, it's like something that just like fits
I
the
think I
circumstance,
my,
or, maybe it's just a non sequitur.
I think my favorite line that I like to quote is "Stick a fork in him."
Because he's done.
Yeah, cooked.
All right, man. Speaking of movies, what was your first movie date?
Oh man, my first movie date. That's a really great question, and my
Thank
memory,
you.
my my memory is not that good, but I want to say my first movie date was the first Avatar. Um, and I think that might that might make me seem a little young, I guess, for a first movie date, but maybe not.
We're talking James Cameron Avatar.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Get those blue bunny people all up in this. See if you can get that. Was the date full of unobtainium, or did you visit her spirit tree?
No, I definitely did not. I was far too young, I think, for any of that, I guess. Maybe by my own
Well,
standards,
that's
though.
good that neither happened. Then I guess that neither were on your radar.
Yeah, for sure. Um,
Which was better, the date or the movie?
I th that's another. I would definitely say the movie, just because I don't know if I realized, fully that I was on a date at the time, but the the
Just got halfway through the movie, you're like, wait a second.
yeah, well, I kind of like later realized that's probably what this was perceived as. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
and but yeah, I'm definitely excited for the sequel to Avatar. I don't know if you've seen the
Sweet.
trailers
See
for
if
it.
you can have your second movie date.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna
Maybe this time he'll
I,
know.
exactly.
Well, just so the fans know, how old are you?
I will be 36 in October, so I'm currently 35.
Okay. So you had your first movie date when you were 22. Is that about right? Am I,
Yeah,
am
yeah.
I doing the mathematicians correct?
I think you are doing the math right. I mean, I assume that you're checking right now when Avatar came out.
Yeah,
I'm
Avatar came out in 2009.
in 2009. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean, that's about right. And I think, before when I said people might think I'm a little young for that, I come from a pretty weird my upbringing was a little weird. But yeah, that's right.
Aren't all ours? I mean, like
Yeah,
who's to say what's normal and what's weird? It's only weird because other people haven't done it
I think
or aren't doing it, right?
I think that's true. I think, I I don't know. I think I was just terrified to like go on dates for a long for a long period of my
Of
life
course, yeah.
when other
It,
people
it,
probably
it
were
it is
going on them.
terrifying, yeah. You're putting
Yeah,
yourself out there, especially for the first time. It's like riding a roller coaster where you don't know what the end is. It's like, do I want to get on this thing? I don't know how this is going to go out. You've heard horror stories. It's terrifying.
yeah,
But you did it, and we're happy you did, and you watched a great movie.
yeah. I mean,
Speaking of great things, what great favorite meal do you like to make just for yourself, assuming cost and time are not relevant factors?
oh, I love just grilling any like really good cut of meat I can get from the local butcher here. Um,
Mm.
it doesn't even take that long, but yeah, any fresh like bone-in ribeyes. I mean,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
it's just awesome. Yeah,
What
I love grilling things.
What is there any like little bits you do to make it kind of your own? Do you use thyme? Are you using something? Are you, I know friends that have used something like they've used lard instead of butter. Like, is there anything that really makes your ribeye unique, or do you just like taking your time with it and do it in more of a traditional way?
Yeah, exactly. More of a traditional way. I think if you have a really, really good ribeye, it's going to be the best if you just don't do anything to it, like don't add anything to it.
Mm-hmm.
Salt I usually add, but even then sometimes not that much. And yeah, I just try to focus on grilling it perfectly. And
Yeah.
if you have a really good cut of meat and you grill it like really, really well, it will be so flavorful in and of itself.
Right on, man. Right on. What's your favorite non-exercise thing that you have to force yourself to do?
That's another really, really good question. Well, I do have to force myself to drive, just to do various some keep up with some various projects I have and just get around. So, and I like driving. So, I guess that would fit there.
That's what's up. Is there someone who you've never met, alive or dead, that you'd like to have lunch with?
Oh man, someone who I've never met. There's so many people who I've never met, that I would like to have.
Billions, even.
Yeah, and there's even so many that I would like to have lunch with, I think. Uh, I think I'm gonna go. Let's see. I hmm. I think I'm gonna go with Billy Joe Jones. He's a famous jazz drummer. He was a famous jazz drummer. Played with some of the greats, some of the like really classic bebop era stuff, and I just can't. That's someone that I would just. It would be so insane for me to be able to meet him.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
What, what kind of, assuming, I'm assuming just given the era that he's either old or long dead at this point, assuming you got him kind of in his prime when his like, brain is firing on all cylinders and you could like really like get and glean information from him. What kind of restaurant would you want to take him out to lunch to?
So he's from Philadelphia.
Mm.
I think I would want to be able to go to a place that he really liked, and just see what it's like. That's a city that I like too, that I've been to a fair amount of times, but haven't spent a ton of like extended time there. So I would really
Yeah.
love to see what he would want to do.
That's right on, dude. Right on.
Yeah.
What's your favorite non-traditional curse word?
My favorite non-traditional curse word.
Yeah. A
Um,
minced oath, if you will.
oh man, probably. I don't know if it's a curse word in England, but bellend. It's
Yeah,
yeah.
I know that one only because I watched a crap ton of what was it? Oh crap!
Maybe.
Holy crap! Ted Lasso. No,
Oh,
I
okay.
watched a lot of Ted Lasso, and they use that term a lot. But I kind of do the way it's used, the connotation I'm getting. It seems derogatory, so it definitely will take.
It's definitely derogatory. I,
Kind of means like it's kind of like their version of dipshit, right? Just like kind of a moron or an
yeah,
idiot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Usually just kind of calling someone like really dumb or an idiot. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's got that joie de vivre. It's got that like Brit flair to it.
Oh yeah.
That kind of curmudgeony like eccentricity of language.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh,
For sure.
that's a great choice. Speaking of great choices, what inanimate objects would you like to be best friends with were it sentient?
What inanimate man,
Yeah.
this is, I mean, maybe it's obvious, but I think like a cymbal or maybe like a drum. Maybe one of the ones I own.
That would be a rough conversation, though. Just
well,
beating the shit out of them. You're like, let's be friends. They're like, you keep hitting me.
yeah, I don't know
Like
if
that's
they,
like it's a hard relationship to foster.
but does it assume that they realize like that's their life's purpose is to be hit? 'Cause if they realize that, then that's what they're supposed to do. Then that seems
That is like a whole podcast in and of itself is discussing the morals of bringing sentience to instrument pieces that you just like knock the shit out of.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like you were created for this purpose, but I guess
I know I was created for this, but I'm not only a whacking stick.
Yeah. I don't know. See, it's dangerous. Like, what are you saying? Personifying like inanimate objects, because there are a lot of potentially bad moral consequences.
Yeah, that would be hilarious though. Like, so like that one's so unique, and I love it. It's so beautiful, because this thing you've spent all this time with, made all this great music with, and this great art. So it is so interesting, but also has this like odd, characteristic of I just kind of wail on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like with a guitar, it's like I'm not poo-pooing your answer in any way. I love it, but like with a guitar, you're strumming it, you're playing it. You're like kind of one and the same. Like if it became sentient, unless it was, like touch a verse, it wouldn't be, like you'd be kind of like, it'd almost be like a girlfriend, it'd be like sweet love into this, like, making this electric boogaloo together. With a cymbal, it's just kind of like, unless they're into BDSM, it's kind of weird that you're just like, you like this, don't you? Wham!
I'm imagining Jimi Hendrix bleeding all over his guitar. and someone trying to like figure out what he's doing to it, like from it, like humanizing the guitar to the point that it has like feelings or something.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to produce this great sound. You're bleeding all over me. Yeah. I don't know,
dude. What the hell?
Yeah.
Do you have a life hack that you'd like to share with the class? Make their life just a little bit easier or better?
Oh man, I feel like I'm the one in need of like life hacks.
Aren't we all?
I would say just like when you're cooking. Okay, for people that cook, always clean as you go. It seems like common sense. It really seems like common sense, but I see a lot of people not do it, and it saves a lot of time if you do.
Like while something's simmering, you like, take care of the kind of like work area.
Exactly, yeah. Like if you ever have downtime while cooking, and believe me, you definitely do, even like 30 seconds of downtime can be used to like quickly clean a surface. It'll save you time.
Love it. Yeah, it's something I notice I do, not like the full scope, but like when I'm making eggs and I have a second, I'll like clean off, so I'm using like less utensils.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So yeah, that one's definitely can also I'll second it.
Yeah.
As they say.
Even if you just use a dish, like even just like rinsing it briefly will save you time later too, instead of just like, not doing that.
Yeah. So while we're on the food track, if you were a condiment, which do you think you'd be?
Oh man, I want to say some sort of complicated sauce. Like, I think I'm just gonna say hollandaise sauce because it's kind of gross to some people.
Nice, yes.
But it's just a good hollandaise is just the truth, just dirty,
Yeah. It's also like, it's like so hoity-toity and rich, and at the same time the dishes it's on, it looks like just there's like, it's never, the presentation of hollandaise sauce is never as eccentric as the name, as the flavor, as like the quality of ingredients. It's just kind of like, here's your sauce, sucker. Just just like covering eggs, like it, like everything else about the dish. Because like the way I've experienced hollandaise sauce, and I think most people have, is when you get
eggs Benedict.
And eggs Benedict, also, hoity-toity dish, and everything about eggs Benedict is like dope, and then the sauce is just kind of like, oh crap, just like it's like shot from a super soaker as like as the waiter's like leaving the kitchen. They're like, crap, forgot the hollandaise sauce, just grab the hollandaise gun.
Yeah.
Like it just like hits the dish on the way out, just this like splattering, just on the dish.
Yeah, I think everyone, it's pretty similar to mayo, like mayonnaise, hollandaise. It kind of like, I think, comes from the same thing, but
it's got that A's to it.
Yeah, from the same recipe, which is, it's just like butter and egg yolks, right? They both are basically just that. But hollandaise is supposed to have that more. I could be wrong about this, but this is how I make it when I make it from scratch. Is it has lemon juice in it, and it gets some of that like more citrusy flavor, and I think that's a little bit lost. Like I like mayo, it's fine, but it's a little plain, you know. I don't know.
Hmm.
I like kind of citrusy, tangy, maybe even spicy sometimes flavors in sauces. So
That's what's up. Yeah, I've never experienced lemon in there. That's wild. How much is it like what does that do to the obviously other than like the obvious, but like is there so does it how okay, I need to collect my thoughts before I talk words apparently.
all good.
Um like sometimes you'll put like lemon zest on something and it doesn't it like the end result isn't like you don't taste a lemony flavor. It just
Mm.
kind of like you know, it's like this undertone that changes the whole entire like vibe. So when you put lemon in your hollandaise sauce, do you taste the lemon or does it change like the dish just a little in more of like a subtler way?
Yeah, so I think I mean the best version of this that I've had was in France, and I think it's from France, but they call it like Dutch sauce there, I think. Which I don't think it's from. I don't know though. I mean I'm not gonna. I don't think it's from the Netherlands, but in any case,
It's probably one of those things where it's countries in Europe being mildly racist towards each other by
maybe.
like putting words in there to like kind of angle. Because I looked this up recently, random tangent. When there was some disease that happened that was going through Europe ages ago, and each country blamed another country for the disease. It was like, oh, this is the Spanish disease, and like Spain's like, this is the French disease, and
Yeah.
Italians are like, this is the German disease. It's like, the fuck? Like everybody's just blaming everybody else. They're like, no, 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 it's these fuckers over here. Like,
Yeah.
what? It was hilarious. So if you like thought you had the Italian disease, went to Italy and said you had the Italian disease, can you help? They're like, what's the Italian disease? They would have been like perplexed. So I just love that the French are like, yeah, it's the Dutch sauce. Like they don't want the credit. Like 100% if they thought it was like top tier, they would just say it's the French sauce.
I don't
But
know.
since like,
I
no,
think
you don't think so?
I don't know. Like I think they were. I don't know if they were trying to hate on it or not, but like I think
Yeah.
I like that scenario, and I kind of hope that that's the case now. Um, but but when I the best version of hollandaise I had was over there, and it had you could definitely taste the lemon juice. There was a lot of it. They typically like put a bunch of paprika or like some kind of spice like that on top of it. They eat it on vegetables there a lot. Like I had it with like asparagus, I think. Some kind of steamed
Mm,
vegetables. They just put it on it.
yeah.
And yeah,
Ooh, that
I'm
does sound
it,
really good. That does sound like a perfect sauce with asparagus,
yeah, like
honestly.
it's good.
Yeah, that's a banger.
Oh yeah, definitely a banger.
So speaking of, I guess this is an anti-banger, but what's a job that at some point in your life you wanted to pursue, but you're very glad you didn't?
Oh man, I think it's hard. It would be hard. It's hard for me to be glad I didn't. Like, cause I'm just. It's all in retrospect. Like, right?
Sure, sure.
Hindsight's. But I. Let's see. Well, I was in finance for a while. And I'm definitely glad that I did leave.
Mm-hmm.
That industry when I did. Looking back. But I just like didn't really like the job I was doing. So it could be that there's like other jobs in that industry that are better, but I don't know. I'm definitely glad that I didn't pursue it though.
Totally. Kind of a different split of the same question. Growing up, do you remember like the first couple jobs that you wanted to be like child Blaine was like, I want to be spaceman or like were there any of those like early on that you remember and just kind of look back and like, man, I was a dumb kid.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, definitely like, probably wanted to be an astronaut when I was really young. I definitely just wanted to like play the drums all the time and like be a drummer or something, whatever that means.
Spoilers.
Yeah. And so I don't know. I think you start to realize that it's how incredibly difficult it is to like have that be a job, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna throw you a hypothetical scenario. You're going out to a party and you want to look extra, whether you want to impress your friends, pick up a honey, whatever your goal is. What piece of garb do you rock to get to that plane of existence?
I think I have this Gandalf Halloween costume.
I don't know where this is going, but I'm here.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
am here for this.
uh,
Continue.
it's from a few years ago, and it has this like massive robe.
Mm.
And like, I mean, if you go to a party and you throw that on, I don't know if it's like what context the party is, but it could be a huge banger for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
You will get
I,
attention. Whether it's the attention you want, debatable.
yeah, it probably won't be that negative. I mean, it could just be like, oh wow, this guy's is really weird. Um,
Yeah.
but you know, it's sick. Like, I don't know, I would throw
Yeah.
that on.
They will remember you were there. That's the best outfit to wear if you need plausible deniability that you did not commit a crime.
Yeah,
Like, look, everybody saw Gandalf there. Show them this outfit. They'll know I was there.
yeah, you don't have to like you don't have to like attach the beard to your face or whatever. Like, you could just wear the robe. You know, you don't even have to bring the
Yeah.
staff. I don't know.
Come on. Are you really a Gandalf costume if you don't have the staff?
I don't know. I think the hat you have to wear though. Like the hat. I was gonna say like you must wear the hat. I think, yeah.
Unless you've got that Ian McKellen, like, shower drape, gray Goldilocks going on. The hat is a must.
Yeah, for sure. Then you could
And
just
even
like,
then, hat's probably the must.
yeah, yeah. You could just like try to go as Saruman, then maybe you don't have to wear the hat. You just say it's him instead.
Do you have any life lessons that you wish you had learned sooner?
Oh man. Let's see. Yeah, I mean a lot of them are just around like financial stuff that I feel like they should. I don't know if they're teaching this in public schools, but they should have taught a lot more in public schools. Just about realizing how much of a free market the banking industry is, and just like how to choose, you know, banks that you do business with. Even like on,
Elaborate. Can you elaborate on that? Because
yeah.
I understand vaguely what you're talking about, but not concretely.
So like, what bank should I open a checking account at? You know, I feel like most people's parents maybe that I know, like, you know, just kind of went with whatever bank they had. But like, I think it would be useful for people that are young to learn, maybe like learn about this in a
Yeah.
not as you know, biased like environment as your
Mm-hmm.
family will often end up
Yeah,
being.
exactly.
Like in public school. So, I mean, yeah, you can open a credit card. There's like introductory ones when you're like 18, so in your own name, and like I had no idea what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea what like APR was, or like what like I had no like I would just, you know, you sign all this stuff and you have no idea what any of it means. That I don't know why. I mean, I guess maybe it's part of this whole it's for a reason that they're not teaching young kids about this. That's pretty depressing to think about.
Yeah.
But I think they should more.
Totally. Yeah, that definitely is. I had never thought about it being biased, but you're absolutely right. It's like there's no way your folks aren't going to be like, yeah, you should go with the bank that we have because, we've had them. And so much of it is, convenience. I know people that open bank accounts at a bank that was close to them because it's like, I don't want to go on across town to like pull out money or deal with the bank. It's like much more suitable, which is a valid reason. But, if you're looking at your prospective future, if you're not going to live there the whole entire time, the value of choosing a bank that better suits you or that you trust more, or that does X, Y, and Z, that's right. Because if I'm understanding you correctly, there are significant and noticeable differences that you don't have to, like incept a bank manager to, kind of figure out.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not necessarily that like checking accounts at big major banks are different, but like why would I open one of those as opposed to opening a checking account with a credit union or something? It's like they don't really teach you how to understand the differences between those two businesses, right? And what they both offer. And why a lot of like credit unions checking accounts are all free, and why the banks like are, having they're going to charge you unless you have this minimum balance, or they're going to charge you unless you also open a credit card or a savings account with, like, just understanding more about the offerings in that in that industry, I think would help. It's not like catastrophic if you don't know, you can figure it out, right? You could just jump in.
But you're missing out on equity, and also changes the way like if I had been told that in high school, it might have changed the way I looked at not only banking, but plenty of other interactive agencies that you work with, whether it be, looking at where, which gym I'm going to go to, and kind of troubleshooting more the places that I choose to have reoccurring costs and like am gleaning benefits from, like that way of looking at American business enterprises and like how you need to fit or how you should be, kind of assimilating yourself with whatever you do and kind of making sure that it's checking the boxes you want so that you're not just screwing yourself over.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a lot of issue with like, um, giving financial advice in high schools or whatever, and I totally get that. Like, I'm not saying that they should give advice to high school students about, how to like manage their money or something, but just more
Mm-hmm.
knowledge about like the offerings in the industry and like what's out there and what, why, yeah, just why a hypothetical person might make different choices, right? Um, in, figuring out what banks to do business with and stuff like that. It is a fine line though between financial advice. So I think maybe that's why they don't. Another reason they don't teach it is because there's
Yeah.
just risk, like a lot of liabilities.
Yeah, there's like potential bias on like most high school teachers might, kind of slump into like, recommendations and like some of the people it's going to be like, even more white noise, but it still is a very good thing to like think about and like, I mean, like one of the best classes I ever took was in high school was like home ec
Yeah,
and was uh not accounting. It was basically like, wow, I
like
it's like just like personal finances.
yeah,
I
like
took a class and I was like walking through like looking at percentages, look on like granted I didn't take any of the advice sadly, but that's on me. It was all there. Like looking at like long term value of investments and how like, what's the best time to invest? A million years ago, the second best time is now. And like looking at how much your money scales and like saving money or investing money as soon as possible, like the amount you gain is like so vast. It's just like so
yeah,
insane. So
that's
you should
awesome.
always just yeah.
I wish they had that at maybe my high school is just kind of behind. I don't know. I wish they had that.
I think all high schools should.
Yeah.
But most importantly, speaking of high school and how back in the day most of us were of the broke variety, is there a poor man luxury you still enjoy to this day that perhaps you enjoyed in the days of high school or before, maybe slightly after?
Oh man, there's there's a lot of vices.
Doesn't have to be a vice so much as
Like
just, Kraft macaroni and cheese is kind of like one of the old standbys of things that were just back in the day it was the shit and now it's still Kraft macaroni and cheese, baby.
yeah, you're right. I don't think these are necessarily vices either. That was wrong of me to say. In all in all seriousness, I think like yeah, I love like just the sliced like really bad sliced American cheese, or I love it. I don't know. It's like
Oh, the
objectively
Kraft
bad.
singles?
Kraft singles. There's like a generic brand that the store near where I was growing up had. I'm trying to remember it. I think it's like the Safeway brand. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, we get there.
Oh, like select like
I don't know.
cheese or whatever like that.
Yeah,
I think that's like the
it
brand name, but yeah.
it was basically just like yeah, Kraft sliced American cheese. I love a good a good grilled cheese with some slices of that on
Yeah.
it.
It's the it it's one of those ones that if you taste it by itself, it really isn't that good. Like especially if you have any like nose for cheese, but
Yeah.
for whatever reason in a grilled cheese, it still
Oh
works.
yeah, it's
It's
good.
wild.
It melts
Yeah.
real nice.
Yeah, it does. It's got a very good like melting temperature. It's
Yeah.
so fantastic. So while we're talking about grilled cheese, when you make a grilled cheese, is it just butter on the outside, bread, cheese on the inside, flip twice, call it done, or do you kind of have any zhuzh to add to that dish?
No, like again, like when I make them, I'm usually making them, yeah, probably like 99% of the time with like, just sliced American cheese on like a pan. But, yeah, I put some butter on the pan first and then, make the sandwich and then just grill it on one side, flip it and grill it on the other side. That's it though.
No sauces, no meats.
Nope, no sauces, no meats, just straight
keep
up.
it basic and perfect.
Yeah,
So what's up?
exactly.
Respect. Is there any media, whether it be book, graphic novel, TV show, or movie, that you've been putting off that is next on your to consume list that you just can't wait to break open?
Can this be a like a TV show?
I'll allow it.
Okay. I don't know if you're asking like a specific medium or
No,
like
no, it was like just anything, just any kind of media, whether it be book, graphic novel, TV show, movie, could even be a podcast, could even be this podcast.
okay, well
But
definitely
what TV show? What TV show is on your can't wait?
definitely this podcast. But the TV show, I really want to watch that Outsiders TV show. I haven't gotten the chance to yet, and I know I could watch it, but it yeah, it's something I've been meaning to watch for a while.
Oh, that's
Um,
interesting. I'd never heard about this one.
yeah, so there, let me hang on one sec. I think it got canceled a while
It's
ago.
had two seasons.
Yeah,
It's got the awesome actor Ryan Douglas Hurst, who I love.
yeah. Yeah, so I didn't know if it actually got canceled or if it was over, but I'm pretty sure it did get canceled, right?
So
I've been
premiered
meaning
in
to
2017. It looks like it had a finale, but I don't know if that means if it was canceled or not. But either which way,
Yeah. I mean, either which way, yeah. The Stephen so that's one of my I don't really like all of Stephen King's, work, but
hmm
that's one of the ones that I do like. So I've been meaning to watch this.
I don't want to be that guy, but one, it was canceled.
Okay, cool.
Sadly, there was supposed to be a
That,
season three, but hopefully they like wrapped it up nice and neat. But this is actually based on the S.E. Hinton novel.
oh, is it?
Yeah,
Wow,
I'm assuming you're talking about the one that's in the U.S. that was on WGN.
you got me. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. The
you
only reason I know is because I was looking at the Wikipedia thing and I was like, oh, I saw not Stephen King.
yeah.
Yeah, but I
Um,
mean, like, this is coming from the book of like with Pony Boy and stuff like that, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
got
That
me.
movie. Did you see the? Speaking of, I didn't want to get you. It's just like oh, it's not. I was kind of sad to see. I love Stephen King. He's like one of the best of all time.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, did you Did you read the original book or watch the awesome, star-studded, like I think it was like Francis Ford Coppola, like low rent version of that movie?
Yeah, the movie, okay, it's been a long time since I watched the movie, but I have seen it. It was good. I remember it being good, but again, it's probably been like 10 years or something since I
It's
watched it.
definitely a good movie. It's
Yeah.
more the thing that's insane about it is the cast. Like just looking back in retrospect, the cast is just like mono bangers. Like Tom Cruise is playing like a bit part before
Yeah.
he like popped. You got Patrick Swayze as like a minor role character. It's just like wall to wall. Like the cast is just like all heavy hitters, like all eventual A-listers at different points in their career. It's just like what is happening?
Is the Karate, sorry, I know you know movies a lot. You seem to be like kind of a movie buff, but isn't the Karate Kid
He's the
guy?
main character,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think. Or
exactly.
he's either.
Yeah,
Hold on. Now,
he-
now I have to look. I don't think he's Pony Boy. I think he's the
no.
kid that dies. Spoiler alerts.
No, I'm pretty sure he
Uh,
is too. Um,
yeah.
and yeah, sorry. For anyone who hasn't, I mean, yeah, I don't want to give
The
too
movie's
much
a
away.
million years old.
Yeah.
You can suck it. Yeah. It's Rolf Macchio plays Johnny Cade, he's like one of the two leads, but he eventually dies.
Right.
And like kind of is the impetus for like the big gang brawl at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got like you've got C. Thomas Howell in his prime, Matt Dillon, Ralph Macchio before he popped off, Patrick Swayze in his prime. You've got Rob Lowe, Emilio Estevez, Tom Cruise. Like, what in the holy shit?
Yeah.
It's so insane.
It's nuts.
And then you've
Um,
got director Francis Ford Coppola. It's just like what? It's one of those gems from. Is it the 90s or the 80s? Hold on.
I think
Came
it's
out in
the
1983.
I think it's 80,
Yeah,
yeah, it's like-
1983.
Yeah.
It's just like, what in the holy crap? This is like so wild. Like so few people I feel like have seen or heard of this. It's just like one of those that's just like kind of just it's a banger, but like somehow it's like kind of slipped through the cracks of being a classic. It's just like so crazy.
Yeah.
Definitely go check that out if y'all haven't seen it. It's just like it still holds up from all that I feel I've seen it like 2 or 3 times. It's like for an 80s movie still great, and it's just wild to see like all of these actors either in their prime or just right before it. And it's just like what in the holy hell is happening?
Yeah, for sure. Um,
All right,
yeah.
well, lastly, before we throw it to a commercial break, if you could have listeners of this podcast hear one song you were choosing, which would it be?
One song of my choosing, I think it would have to be the song I mentioned, "Chlorine Dream" by Spiria X. It's a song I'm just kind of obsessed with. It might be just nerd stuff for anyone who's like a, Primal Scream head or whatever. Um, One of the guitar player from Primal Scream's early lineup. This is like the band he formed when he left Primal Scream, and I think it's sick. I'm trying to remember his name right now. The fact that I can't remember his name should absolve me of being a huge nerd, like I said.
No, this is
But
awesome, man. I love finding out those like little bits of like, yeah, this is the guy from that who did this, and like I didn't know for the longest time that I was like reading a like self-betterment book, and it just like goes on this tangent and told the story about how the before Metallica made it, they switched one member. I'm assuming it's a singer, but I don't remember which member. And the member that they kicked out went on to form
Megadeth, the guitar player, Dave Mustaine.
yeah, the
Yeah,
guitar player went and formed Megadeth.
yeah,
And not only that, which is just like crazy cool, but also was salty for years, even though Megadeth is one of the biggest bands, because it wasn't ever as
yeah.
big as Metallica, and that pissed him off for like the longest time.
Dave
Just like
Mustaine is just crazy.
wild.
I think
Yeah.
he's just always been, I think, pretty salty. Like couldn't deal with the rejection. I think they just kicked him out because he like tried to. There's like a story you can look up. I think he tried to like fight one of them or something, or like through. I don't know. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
insane though. Yeah, I don't know,
But it's still
but
so cool,
good.
like finding out that little bits of trivia, and you're just like, whoa, it's so crazy.
Yeah. Um.
So thank you for that tidbit.
Oh yeah, for
And with
sure.
that, and with that, we're gonna throw it to our first break. Feel free to stick around and enjoy this totally real commercial, or take a minute to enjoy "Chlorine Dream" by Spiria X. Or if you really wanted to hear a song from a previous episode, check out the playlist on Spotify, Passionate People and Preposterous Peeves podcast, Song Rex. It's a long title, I know. Don't worry, there's a link in the description. Either way, see you in a jiffy. Do you need 100 pounds of butter? Come on down to Company Street Company. What if I need 30 gallons of olive oil? Come on down to Company Street Company. But what if I just want one flatless bird roasted for a reasonable price? Come on down to Company Street Company. Okay, but just come on down to Company Street Company. We have everything for a better price, free snacks, and employees who don't want to kill themselves or you because we treat them like fucking human beings. Yeah, but yup. Even just get your ass down to Company Street Company, where the only sketchy thing we've ever done is enable frozen orange juice hoarders. Welcome back, everybody. So I'm here with Blaine. Blaine, what passion did you bring with us today to blow our minds and know you better?
I don't know. I mean, hopefully this will blow some people's minds, but I think, yeah, one of my main passions right now is music, so we can talk about that.
But it wasn't just music. It was specifically a certain instrumentation variant of music, I do declare.
It's true, it's true. I've been playing the drums since I was about like 11 years old. Um, so
Much to the love of your neighbors.
yeah, I mean, there have been various there have been various neighbors that were extremely tolerant, and probably
That's rad.
some who weren't as tolerant,
No,
but
not so
I
much.
g- when I was younger, but now, yeah, these days I kind of get it, and I don't think I would subject my neighbors to that.
How do you, okay, so that's interesting you say that. How do you go about not subjecting your neighbors to that without like, kind of stepping on your own like dreams and passions?
Yeah, so well, these days it sucks because I don't currently really have a place to set up my
Mm-hmm.
drums and practice them. But me and some friends had a studio kind of around, up here in the North Bay that we used, for a long time. When I moved back up here, I guess this is kind of a ties in with, yeah, I guess what I've been doing the past few years. But I moved back up to the North Bay to San Rafael, just like in 2020, so just after the pandemic, I guess that summer. So I've been here like 2 years, and when I did that, I was kind of using part of my friend Matt's house, his garage, kind of as a place to set up and practice the drums, and then also there's a practice space up in Santa Rosa who me and a bunch of my friends, had together, and we were using to, you know, do various music projects, or even just, I could go up there and play the drums. I kind of
Mm-hmm.
didn't do that as much as I wanted to or should have maybe over the pandemic, but yeah, just having a place to be able to do that was awesome. And since then, that place is actually shut down. So yeah,
No.
and um, my friend Matt, we can, we can't just constantly like use his garage. It's not really a place I think that he wants to constantly have a bunch of musical gear set up in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, right now I'm kind of in search of a another studio, but there's some promising leads.
Sweet. So how much right now? How much? Okay, so under a preferred paradigm like it was before, where you had places to go, practice, places to practice that weren't too far away. How much were you practicing and playing versus how much you're practicing and playing now?
Yeah, that's a good question. So when I lived in San Francisco, like before the pandemic, there was a practice room that me and my buddy had access to, and um, again, that was a lot easier, I guess. It fit in more into, I guess, my lifestyle then. So I was going there and playing. Um, I mean, still, I feel like I just never practice enough these days, but at least then probably like, at least like 10 to 15 hours a week. But
Damn.
I like, again, and a lot of playing drums really well is like keeping your muscles like
Mm-hmm.
you don't need to have like a lot of physical strength, I want to say, but just yeah, keeping your hands and your muscles like up to speed and good. You notice a lot with drumming, or at least I do with drumming, how much chops and skills like atrophy
Mm-hmm.
when you don't practice. But I do have a bunch of pads in my apartment, and like I have a setup I can use to even help develop some chops and stuff just with pillows. It's like it helps practicing drums when you are practicing on a surface that doesn't rebound like a normal drum. It's kind of like how baseball players like put a weight on their bats,
mm.
before they get to the plate, just to make that heavier. It makes the sticks harder to get rebound off of on a surface like a pillow, so it actually sometimes is good. And then when you get to an
Yeah,
actual
you have to
drum,
like
you're like, whoa, I'm so fast. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. You have to like
Yeah.
overtrain so that you're like hyper ready.
Yeah.
I totally know what you mean with the. So I used to play instruments growing up, and I could tell, but when playing, if I like had been practicing enough, because like the your embouchure and like the feeling of your lips like on the mouthpiece after you play for a little bit, if you hadn't played for a while, it felt like you got like stung by a bee or like ate something that you were allergic to. Your like lips would swell up, and it's like, well, this is uncomfortable and painful. So
Yeah.
I imagine it's the same thing for your hand,
Yeah.
like your hands, just like when you're gripping. It's like I haven't played in a while, and you're just like fucking ow.
Yeah. For sure.
But so you used to do 10 to 15 hours. How many do you think you're down to now?
Man, there have been weeks now. I mean, well, actually, okay, so now that we're kind of maybe we're moving towards sort of like an endemic environment, I don't know. I mean, I kind of hope so, but live music is starting to return, and like, studios are starting to open again in terms of like session work that people are doing, whether recording a live band or just recording live instruments. So there have been projects that I'm involved with that have been pretty active over the past like year. It's still kind of like ramping back up. So the good thing is I've been playing a bit, but maybe not practicing still nearly as much. I think I'm down to like, I mean, last week, well, I was like recording some stuff and doing some projects in LA last week, so I probably didn't practice at all, but I played the drums a fair amount. But I think on weeks when I'm less busy, I'm probably down to like, I don't know, less than like maybe around 5 hours a week, maybe even less than that.
Oof.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried using, so you were talking about using pillows, using drum pads. Have you ever used like electronic drum kits to like test and like, play songs, get used to them, or like even record?
So I have one electronic drum. I don't have a whole kit, and I kind of do want to get one. I actually now kind of have the space for one where I live. So yeah,
That's rad.
I was thinking about getting one. I think still though, like if I got one, my neighbors would be there would be things that they would hear like just like you know
Thwacking.
yeah,
Yeah.
or creaking like with the because you're still I'm still sitting on the floor. I live on like a middle floor, like that's where my
Oh no.
apartment is.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not great.
Have you ever looked into, I remember seeing like videos of people doing this almost always in commercials because it's probably not practical, but have you ever thought of trying to like soundproof a drum room and kind of like having it where you can like kind of go a little harder and feel less, uh problematic for your neighbors?
Yeah, I think if I was on like the bottom floor, that would work really well. Even on this floor, soundproofing like a room might work well also. But my apartment's it's really like a one bedroom. Like I don't really
Mm.
even have like kitchen doesn't even really have like a door. The only
Yeah, no, I feel you.
so like I would have to like I could do it though to my bedroom and put an electric kit in there for sure. I you know I'm the fact that you mentioned
Just
this has made me want to revisit it a bit. We'll
just buy
see.
eggs for a couple months and then just use the egg cartons.
Yeah, yeah. The one electric drum I have is awesome too. You can like make it sound so crazy like with the controller thing and like you can even put a custom like sound to have it make when it detects like different kinds of strokes on it, So you can
Oh,
like
that's
yeah,
cool.
it's crazy. You can do, you can do cool stuff.
All right, so we're gonna go back down memory lane a little bit and start with 10-year-old Blaine. What got you interested in drums and what got you playing? Was it like did you go see a band live? Was there a certain musician that you fell in love with? Band teacher just hand you drum sticks because they're like, we need somebody for the to play timpani. Like, how did this start? What was the impetus?
I think I owe a lot to my parents here because
Well, other
they
than your existence, yeah, sure.
yeah, like I mean, well that one like, that was just I mean, thank God, I don't know. What would the world be like if I never existed? I don't know.
Well,
Maybe
we wouldn't be talking right now,
yeah,
that's for sure.
yeah, that's true. That's true. But they were like huge music kind of lovers, appreciators. They didn't play music, but they were like really obsessed with it. Had a lot of
Mm.
a ton of records, followed like the Grateful Dead around on tour for a long time.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, like they're really they're pretty nerdy about music and they subjected me and my brother also to like a lot of loud records and music while we were growing up. And as for why I connected with like the drums specifically, I don't even know specifically. I remember just banging on like pots and pans, banging on surfaces constantly. People yell at my mom and dad like kind of maybe thinking it was really annoying, but then I think at one point they realized, oh, like maybe he's just trying to copy the drums. Oh my God. And they were like, I think they were really happy to like have their kid
Aw,
be like connecting with music too. So they bought me a drum.
that's
They,
so
they bought
cool.
me a drum set super early and were super stoked. They were like so supportive and like just like wanted were down to have me play and like the neighbors would complain and they would tell me like okay just they agreed to allow you to play until 7 p.m. like I remember these rules like after school like
Yeah.
like and I don't know yeah I
So if you're only able to play till 7 p.m., did you like rush home and immediately start playing? Was it, okay, I'll play like how emphatic was 11, 12-year-old Blaine when it came to playing the drums if he only had till 7?
I
Was it
mean
something like friends are like, we want to hang out? You're like, fuck you, I'm gonna go play the
oh
drums.
yeah
Was it? Oh,
oh
nice,
yeah yeah
love it.
I was not I was much I became like I remember when my parents got that first drum kit for me and that's like it's all I wanted to do was play it. Like my friendships, I had some I had some friends, a small group of friends that those all definitely suffered. Like yeah, I really just like yeah, I remember just wanting to go home and play it every day.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love hearing that. It's like it makes me a little, I don't know. It's interesting. So growing up, I don't know if I got foist. I think I kind of got instruments foisted upon me, which probably was for the better overall. But my relationship was I have to, not I wanted to. So to hear people who wanted to, and it was just like got consumed by it, gripped by it, and that's all they wanted to do. It's such a pure and beautiful thing for me. I respect, people that worked at it and like did due diligence, and liked it, but that love, that enamored emphaticism is just so pure, especially when it comes to music. It just like, I don't know, it's stuff you read about and you see like fictionalized, but to like know people and hear about it truly happening is just like a thing of beauty.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. That's really nice of you to say though.
Well, thank you for sharing your story with us.
Yeah.
So, as somebody who's drummed for such a long period of time, what would you say is like one of the bigger misconceptions about drumming by the wider world?
There's so many funny ones of these like just drummer jokes. Like just
Oh, just dump them all on us, baby. Let's go. Don't choose one. Just do them all.
well, like I think my favorite one is like when there's some Beatles interview where I think it's John Lennon who they ask, and they're they're like, "Do you think Ringo is like, the best drummer?" Or no, this might be actually Metal. I don't know who
Oh,
did this, who got this
no,
first, you know.
I know this joke. It's like,
But
is
people,
this guy the best drummer,
yeah,
or is he the best drummer in the world? And they're
and
like, I don't even think he's the best drummer in this
yeah,
band.
yeah, and like Paul or John is like, he's not even the best drummer in the Beatles.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the essence of it right there. Because I mean, I don't know, rhythm is crucial to like if you're playing rock and roll R&B, all of the instruments are in the rhythm section. The guitar is in
Mm.
the rhythm, it's entirely so. Everyone is essentially kind of a drummer, like in a rock band, right? Because
Mm.
it's all the it's is a rhythm section. I guess the vocals are just maybe someone singing, yelling over the rhythm section. So maybe that's the. But I still think even the vocalist in rock bands,
I love the way you
yeah,
say that. That's such a fantastic freaking drummer opinion. It's not that we're supporting the singer, it's that the singer is yelling over us. It's like,
yeah, yeah.
that's such a drummer opinion. That's so great. It's like, no, this asshole over here is just making this ruckus over this awesome stuff we're playing.
Anyone who
Fucking dick.
anyone who's a rocker will get this. Like like you like it's but I actually think though especially like the great the Rolling Stone, like the great rock and roll bands,
Hmm.
the vocals are also very rhythmic, and the rhythmic delivery and the phrasing is like huge. So and those are
Hmm.
all like so I guess what I'm trying to say is that I think it's okay if like John was a better drummer than Ringo or whatever. That's cool. And
Would you? Okay, go ahead, sir.
and I bet that might even be true, although Ringo is sick. Like, I mean, yeah.
Definitely underrated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of movies put out, especially recently. Like there's like Whiplash is like a movie that's just about drumming, and there's this kind of misunderstood because it is so much like the kind of, generally speaking, and I hope this doesn't come across as mean spirited or anything like that. It's kind of like the background instrument. It's not the instrument that gets too much of its like highlight.
Yeah.
Are there some are there films that you think do a good job at showing what it is to be a drummer, or the kind of the ethos of being a drummer, versus movies that just don't get it?
Man, I think inevitably I'm gonna have to mention that Whiplash movie, because it was so popular and it was about drumming. But I think that movie does kind of get it. It like I mean, let's see. There's two. I guess there's like two parts of this question too, because it's like I think being the background to definitely, I think definitely in most forms of music the drums are part of the background, like you said. But I think especially in like blues based, like rhythm and blues or blues based music, the background is like crucial, like to the
Yeah.
downbeat,
It's
even in
the
jazz too, the
I've
downbeat.
got a metaphor for you. Let's see if this lands. Sorry, we're getting. I don't want you to get too far away that I can't mention this.
Yeah.
So I'm going to interrupt real quick. I feel like a better way to put it is the drums are the bones of a good song. You
Yeah.
don't see them. If you do see them, if you only see them, there may or may not be a big problem. But without them, it cannot stand.
Yeah.
But all people see is the flesh, the eyeballs, the hair, the clothes. They never see the bones and they never appreciate them because there's all this stuff covering it up that's a lot more like kind of colorful.
Yeah. That's a great way to put it. And I think if I don't know if you like dancing or like if dancing something that you ever do just like for fun, but anyone who dances is kind of playing the drums. Um, if you just
The drums are everything.
were to put
Everything is drums.
yeah, well, if you were to like if you I've never actually been to one of those like silent disco things, and I don't know if I'm like fully against them. But imagine what the room sounds like if you don't have the headset on, right? So you're just
Yeah,
listening to the
yeah.
room of all these people dancing and you can't hear the music. It would sound like someone was just playing drums on the floor, I'm pretty sure.
When you said,
Like,
I knew what you meant, but when you said silent disco, I imagined a bunch of people in the 80s just being insanely high on coke, doing disco style dances, but nobody's playing music and they're just like tripping their balls off. There's the
yeah,
funniest image I've ever conjured. It's just like Saturday Night Fever, John Travolta, but there's nothing, there's no sound going on in the background. He's just doing his thing, looking fly, but with no music.
yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so for those of you that don't know, silent discos are, kind of, I don't know what the best way to typify it other than that is you'll go into a place where normally there'd be music playing, but as a way to kind of prevent other businesses from getting annoyed and making it, I think one of the best parts is it makes it feasible for the people that work there to interact with customers is all the people that want to listen to the music and dance and stuff like that have headphones on and there's a DJ, playing the music, but it only goes to all the headphones that are connected via Wi-Fi. So if you ever walk into one of those places, it looks trippy as shit.
Yeah.
There's just a bunch of people dancing with headphones on, and no, you don't hear anything, and it feels like you're having like a mental breakdown until you put on one of the headphones, and then it makes complete sense again.
Yeah, I know they have them indoors. I imagine if you like went into one of the, I've never done this, but I imagine that would be a pretty cool, sensation is like not hearing the music and going in and hearing, you probably just hear like a bunch of loud thumping on the floor, like tapping, drumming basically, feet with their feet.
Clopping,
Yeah,
drunken Irish jigs, just clap, clap, clap on the floor.
yeah.
All right, from misconceptions to non-obvious. Blaine, what would you say is your favorite non-obvious aspect when it comes to drumming?
Okay, there's so many non-obvious ones that like are horrible. But like the one my favorite my favorite one is just sitting down during during the set. I don't know if you've ever like, played live music or performed like in a group and done it standing up as opposed to sitting down, but I love just being able to sit down, and you kind of have to like play a drum kit in a rock band. So yeah, it's nice because it's tiring playing
Yeah.
live music, especially playing the drums and sitting.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
take it for granted being able to sit behind the kit.
Are there any, wow, I'm so good at English. Are there any musicians that inspired you the most or that you think are kind of held up, at least for the kind of, slight pun intended, drum circle that are kind of overrated? Like, is there any kind of high and low points when you kind of look at drummers?
I I let's see. I mean, I don't want to say that like I don't want to come in here with like some like super spicy take about a famous drummer being overrated.
Totally.
I think most of them are good. I I don't know. I think so. Like everyone loves Bonham, the drummer of Led Zeppelin, and I'm certainly not
Hmm.
gonna say that like he was overrated because I don't really think that that's the right term. But I think I connect with his style of drumming less
Mm.
than other rock drummers. I'm not sure why that is. I think it's just like a personal
Yeah,
preference, or maybe
peeps be different, yo.
yeah, like I was just I when I learned the drums, I was learning jazz and playing in like the jazz band, and I didn't really start getting into like rock or at least like rock drumming until after that. So I think maybe that's part of the reason. Like his drumming's just like super loud, and his tone is just like really, really overly, just overly like boomy and stuff like that, and I that's not I don't know, it's just kind of like obnoxious, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to, he's one of the greats, so I don't want to come off.
Who are some of the who are on the flip side of that? Who are some of the ones that like really inspired you and like kind of not if you didn't copy them, or necessarily emulated them, but that you kind of looked up to with great reverence.
In terms of like rock or jazz or just any drummers. Um
Yes, it does either both.
yeah, well, Billy Joe Jones, the drummer I mentioned earlier, in that earlier question, is I think my favorite drummer of all time. Maybe like him and this guy named Billy Higgins.
Oh
Who I
yeah,
actually was
Billy
able to meet while he
Higgins.
was alive, which is crazy.
What?
Yeah, um, that's a another thing, but yeah, definitely those two. Like I tried to copy so much, and like a lot of the stuff they're doing definitely doesn't directly translate to like trying to play rock music, but tonally I think it really does, and so that's like something I think maybe that I took from it. And yeah, I kind of miss like I never no one I feel like when I finished college or at least finished my undergrad, none of my friends or anyone I knew really was like interested in playing jazz much. I don't know why that is. I think the music industry and stuff has something to do with that. But yeah, I kind of miss whenever I like listen to records with either of those guys on them or even just, my favorite jazz records, I miss playing in those
That's
kind
so
of settings.
that's so beautiful. That instead of like looking at that and being is I always love it when people look at that and it like reignites a fire.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's a bit weird, but like I'll watch like poker coverage. I'm like, man, I want to go out and play. It doesn't like get me like annoyed that I'm not currently playing. I just like it lights a fire under my ass. And it sounds like for you listening to music kind of does the same thing. Especially those types of like jazz records, like you're saying, it just like you hear it and you love it. It sounds like you love the music, but also you're just like, oh, I want to go play.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
That's so pure.
Yeah. I could relate to the poker thing too.
All right. From the passionate to the preposterously annoying. Blaine, what is your preposterous peeve that you have brought with you today?
All right, this one I feel like this is so preposterous.
Perfect.
And people are gonna really laugh, but okay, it's definitely just like parking. I mentioned I mentioned earlier that like driving is like something I enjoy, and it's true. It's like a mundane thing, I guess, that I enjoy, but yeah, like I'm obsessively always trying to get like the perfect distance from the curb, and
Mm-hmm.
when people don't, it like really makes me mad. Like if I'm in a car with someone else and they like park badly, it's just like so it could like ruin my whole afternoon. Which is like
Like,
it's yeah.
how slight is badly? Like, if their tire is a like touching the gutter, is that acceptable?
No. Um Touching the curb is like not definitely it's definitely not acceptable. I
What's the Goldilocks zone of tire to curb ratio?
like around 6 inches, and that's like hard to achieve like without without hitting it. I get that. But I will spend so long adjusting. Like I've had, yeah,
Parking to you is like grooming a bonsai tree. It's just like
yeah,
very exacting, minimal science.
yeah. I've had people, my girlfriend, my mom, like my friend. I've had them like just straight up like leave the car
Yeah.
early because they know that this is gonna happen, and they're just like, "I'll be inside."
I don't need to be here for this.
Like, just don't want to be there for it anymore. So, I think that's kind of telling. I don't know.
When did you notice, or is there something that brought this on?
Uh, yeah, I think like someone mentioned, just friends mentioning it over time. Like,
No. Like the act of you
oh,
needing to be so precise in your parking, and other people needing to be so precise in their parking with when you're
yeah.
around.
I think it's just like a weird OCD thing that like I developed somehow. I don't know. Like, I don't think anything really like set it off, but I do remember like times, quite a long time ago, like, 15 years ago or something when I was first starting to drive a lot,
Mm-hmm.
where like, yeah, people would just be like, dude, like it's fine. Like you don't need to do this. Like yeah. And I don't know, yeah, I couldn't it's weird, like I can't stop
Can't
doing
not.
it.
Yeah. Can't stop, won't
I,
stop. So is there a story you have where this really, is a great kind of showcasing of how preposterous this peeve is, or where it just really just like exploded for you?
I think like just like there was a time where okay, as you can imagine, being late to anything like could make this so much worse.
Yeah.
Where like there's not time to fix stuff. So there was I can't remember what we were going to. I think it was like some sort of family event. I was with my mom. This was probably like 5 or 6 years ago, and she was driving and just like parked like kind of diagonally, like not, like not well. And we're supposed to be like inside like 10 minutes ago or whatever. So we're already late. And I feel like this is such a mundane story, but I guess it is kind of funny. And I'm like, mom, like she just like parks like that and like starts to get out, and I'm like, you can't park like this, like this is not it's not right or whatever. And she just like trying to brush me off, and I'm like, no, like give me your key, like just go in, you go in and tell you go in and like apologize for being late or whatever. Like I can fix it, And she's like, you're being ridiculous. Like I just I don't know. I just remember not being, yeah, like it kind of like ruined. I feel like at the dinner too, I was like not enjoying it as much because I knew the car was out there like that. Hours later.
Oh, she wouldn't give you the key.
No,
She
no,
was
no.
like,
She
"We're
would
going
not give
inside."
me the key. Yeah, she was like, "You can stand out here if you want." Like
You're just like maulding, just inside, just like pulling your hair out,
Oh
like
yeah,
as like
yeah. I was
as
like,
low key as humanly possible, just like
yeah, I was like legit mad at.
seething.
I was legit mad at her. Like couldn't, and I couldn't like enjoy this like nice family meal. I think it was maybe my brother's birthday. I don't know. But like yeah, and like
The present
just
you
like
brought is just like destruction of family values.
yeah, she's like
Just
really like
sitting over this like
we're we're gonna go here over like over this really like like
oh, it's so great.
yeah, it was
All right.
it was a night.
And with that hilarity, we're going to head to our second ad break. But don't go anywhere, because when we get back, Blaine is going to enter the lightning round. Have you ever just looked at fried carbs on a plate and thought, I need to eat those, but it doesn't taste all that appetizing? Introducing catsup. Catsup is a sugary and red syrupy paste that'll overshadow any unappreciated taste. Simply douse the unpreferred tasting object and ingest. Mmm. Thanks, catsup. And we are back. Blaine, are you ready to enter the lightning round?
The lightning round?
I don't think I have a choice, so
You don't.
let's enter it.
All right, put however much time it takes to bake this cookie on the clock. Blaine, is there a price for you to give up your passion forever?
No,
Make the food or do the dishes?
make the food.
Are soups smoothies?
No.
Did you ever cheat on a test in school?
Sort of. Yes. I'm just gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes.
Are you out of touch, or is it the children who are wrong?
It's definitely the children who are wrong.
Would you rather have your inner monologue sound like Gilbert Gottfried or Fran Drescher?
Oh my God. Fran Drescher for sure.
Would you rather read the cue cards while wearing the crown or live in a hovel and speak your mind?
Nah, cue cards for sure. Cue cards.
Do you create your own thoughts or do you just listen to them?
Oh, you definitely just listen to them.
Take out the garbage or play trash Tetris?
Trash Tetris, I guess. I don't know. What is that?
What is that? It's like when you it's like, especially when you have a shared living space and you don't want to take out the trash, so you like start like putting the stuff on top where it just barely balances but doesn't like fall over, so you don't have to technically take it out because it's not like, it's like that.
I didn't even. Okay, I know this is a lightning round, so we got to move on, but that's an interesting tangent.
Yeah. You're having the best day of your life. What happens next? Another amazing thing or something terrible?
Another amazing thing.
Pineapple on pizza or fist fight?
Pineapple on pizza.
You come across a stranger just struck by a car. Their dying breath is this. This is very important. Please tell my wife. She's a dirty harlot. Ooh. Do you or do you not tell their wife?
I tell them.
Is professional wrestling cool or lame?
Lame. It's just lame. I'm sorry. It's going to be unpopular.
Courtesy flush or light a candle?
Light a candle.
Can I have your pickle?
No.
Assuming there were no health or global effects to worry about, would you rather it always be dark or always be light?
Always be dark.
Would you rather be completely made of eyeballs from the neck down with no eyelids, or be a remote-controlled Tonka truck from the neck down? You have the remote, but you lack the appendages to use it, so you must give it to someone.
The first one.
Brussels sprout flavored Mountain Dew, or day-old lasagna milkshake?
Oh, definitely the Brussels sprout Mountain Dew.
Could you eat 37 of your favorite food for $5,000 in a 1 hour time limit?
No.
Congratulations.
You've survived the lightning round anyway.
Oh my God.
Well, before we
good.
move on, though, to your prize, I, like many other listeners at home, would like to now know, what is your favorite food that you couldn't eat 37 of?
37 steaks in 1 hour. I mean, that would. I don't think that's possible. I don't even know if.
No.
Yeah.
That's just death.
Yeah.
That's death or cheating, and you're calling something a steak. Or you're calling something a steak that isn't a steak.
Yeah.
All right, well, now on to your prize. What lightning round question would you like to ask me, and in turn be asked of future guests?
Okay. The question is the universe finite?
I'm going to say no, but that's just based on what I've been told, because I'm not big brain enough to know or understand that. I don't know, what about you? Do you think it's finite, or do you think it's ever expanding?
It's very complicated, but I think the answer is yes. But the whole point is that anyone who thinks about it, I think it's going to slightly stress them out. Maybe they'll just fire off yes or no. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like an existential. It's like an existential dread style of question.
Yeah.
Just like you have to contemplate all of everything.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, as we come to a close here, is there anything you want to plug, shout outs you'd like to give, or places people can find you or your content?
Yeah, I guess I'll just shout out some of the more like active musical projects I've been a part of. Most of these are just like I'm not the main like songwriter or composer, but I'm like involved with them playing live and recording and stuff. The first one is called Smirk. You can find it on streaming services, whatever. That's my buddy Nick's band. The second one is called Spiritual Cramp. Same thing, find it on streaming and everything like that. guess becoming more like less involved playing live with that band, but doing a lot of recording and stuff like that there. And then I guess the next one is this project called Violent Change. That one might be more hard to find on streaming services, but I'm pretty sure there's some stuff on there you can get. That's my friend Matt's project. And yeah, I guess I'll keep it at those three for now. There's other stuff, but I'm not going to take up
That's great.
a ton of time.
That's so sweet, man.
Yeah, and then just I guess my Instagram, I guess too. Like if you want to see what stuff I'm doing or whatever, it's North Bay Lads Club, all underscores, so North underscore Bay underscore Lads underscore Club. So check that out.
All right, man. Do you have any friends or family you'd like to nominate to come on this podcast so they too can suffer as you have today?
Yeah, let's see. I definitely think B Hickey, who's someone you mentioned, would be awesome. Mutual Magic friend of ours. Same with Evan Ernston. Evan actually won the first RCQ of the season up here that we went to like 2 weeks.
Of course he did.
2 weeks ago. But our deck was perfect, and it was an easy game. He anyway, I won't get too into the tangent there, but you should have him on. And Ricky Sitter too, I think would be a good one. And I'll throw Hetrick in there too, Michael Hetrick, any of those four.
The old North Bay Sacramento Magic boys, to be sure.
Yeah,
we'll reach out and see if any of you guys hear this and didn't check your Facebook messages. Shoot me an email at passionate people and preposterous peeves podcast at gmail.com.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Blaine, for being my guest today. And a special thanks to my editor, Richard Ashford, and my composer, Joshua Gibbons. And thank you. Yes, you listening at home or wherever you found time to appreciate this. Time is the most precious commodity we have, and I appreciate you spending yours with us. And if you enjoy this podcast, please subscribe, like, or just share it with a friend. Every little bit helps this tree grow. Or if you already have and are out of episodes to listen to, don't worry. We put out a new episode every Monday at midnight on SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes at Passionate People and Preposterous Peeve Podcast. And a very special thanks are due to our Patreon patrons, Sabella Yellow. And if you'd like to join said illustrious ranks and have your name read aloud, just head on over to patreon.com/Passionate People and Preposterous Peeve Podcast. And remember, folks, if Bill does pills and Sandy likes candy, what does Richard enjoy? Gummy worms. Richard enjoys gummy worms.